Okay, hey y'all. Yeah, we're starting off with a black screen again. But the only reason why is because I need to say warning. This entire tier list is opinion based. This is what I think because I'm in the top freaking 100, and I just thought, hey, let's make a new list since the old one is outdated, which is being shown, not flash, being shown right now. This was the original list, which I forgot to put in the recording, which you're going to be seeing in a few moments. But I will have to say, there's one gun on this list that should not have gotten the nerf it got. And that would be the launcher, which is the black one in B. That gun got the biggest nerf I've seen in a bit, which is kind of funny since this game doesn't get that many balance patches. I have no idea what Banana Dev was thinking. I don't think it needed it, but I guess in his mind it was probably a gun that needed it. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. This is all opinion based, and yeah. Anyway, let's just get on with the let's time to start the show, shall we? Okay, so I've realized I can probably pump this one out today. Same with the ability list. So this is the weapon list because I don't think the weapon tier list has been updated in a while, and some things have changed with a few weapons. So I just had to make a list. Now this is very opinion based, but which most tier lists are. Forgot to say that in the other video. There was a lot of things I forgot to say, but it was like kind of in the morning, and I just and got a cold still. So it's a fun time. Anyway, I'm gonna go over the tiers. So we have S plus. The most broken of broken needs giga nerfs because this is broken tier. S is like, yeah, it's broken, but it might be strong, but isn't that strong. A is like, it's good, probably very reliable, very good. B is all right, not the best, not the worst, but all right. C is like decent. It's getting bad, but it could be better. And D is just bad. Just just not use it. Just no. But no gun in this entire game is F right now. There might be a good chance that gun might become F, but time will tell. So we're gonna start off with how the website has this. I think I don't remember exactly who made this. It's on the top of my tongue, but I can't think of it. Anyway, let's get this over. So first up, now we have some of the starter weapons. Anyway, let's get over with the snake. This is a reliable gun. 30 shots in the clip. Actually, I'm sorry, mag. Does 20 damage a shot. Has ADS. Reliable. It's good. It's a fantastic weapon. There was much better weapons in this game though. This is like the middle ground. This is the probably like it's a perfect gun. It's designed perfectly, does decent damage. It's all right. Anyway, let's move on. The launcher. Oh my god. So originally this thing was high. It's no longer. This thing got hit with the biggest nerf. A nerf I didn't see coming. I would have assumed something else would have gotten nerfed, but not that. So someone must have gotten really good with it. Its damage output is pitiful right now. Okay, so originally this thing did like I think it was 2 seconds per shot, like 2.5. Now it's 5. It takes forever to get a next shot off because there is nothing you can do about the reload. You have to wait. You have to have this gun out for the reload. There's unless if you miss, you're fucked. In gun game, this thing is terrible because if you miss a shot, you may as well just kick someone. Like you're better off kicking if you when you get this gun in gun game. Anyway, next up, Plaza. Plaza. Well, this is a this is a good gun. It's reliable. It's got a few more rounds than this, but its burst, I think it's 5 round burst. It does 21 damage, and this used to be my go-to. This used to be my go-to, but it can suffer. It is a little inaccurate. Same as this. It's like a side grade. It's all right. It's weird. Oh yeah, I guess I should say these are primary weapons. Isn't a explosive. This is in your explosive slot. I should probably be saying that anyway. Next up, flamethrower. Not, it's a weird gun. It's unique. It's neat, but due to another weapon I will talk about soon. Well, probably in a while actually. This thing just has the most inconsistent damage output. It feels like sometimes it obliterates people. Sometimes you just feel like you're being tickled. Like I've been on the receiving and dealing end of this thing. I don't see it. Like, I think probably a damage buff and it'd be a maybe a oop, shit. Maybe a buff to burn damage, but there is counters to this thing. It has it's kind of short ranges, even though the projectile doesn't say that. Anyway, thing. Next up, the Falcon or the sniper. Oh my fucking god! This thing is probably gonna be permanent A until something counteracts it. There is not many counters to the thing. It's a perfectly accurate sniper rifle no matter what you're doing. A point and click adventure. This thing ruins can get very annoying on certain maps. It just obliterates close range. It's like the perfect gun to say you don't get to play the game, which we'll get to in a moment. Another gun does that too, but much better. This gun single-handedly can break stuff in the right hands, and no, I haven't seen anyone based on casual that has gotten good with this. People have been getting good with it, but I haven't seen anyone been telling me to put it into here. Like this thing is not S plus. If this thing gets buffed or someone cracks it, it's being put in S plus. But it's a very good gun. Next up, freeze gun, which is immediately S plus. Who designed this thing? Not only does this thing revoke your permission to play for 2.2 seconds, which can be applied indefinitely since this thing does not only the same amount of damage as these two, hint the reason why these things are even in A tier. The damage output is insane. With certain weapons, you don't get to play the game. Who does... I'm not sure what Alex was thinking to put a gun that revokes your ability to play the game in a movement-based shooter. That's what it does. And with certain abilities, you just can't kill the dude that's shooting you with it. Why? It's so annoying. Like, for you don't get to do anything. It's just this thing needs nerfs. This thing desperately needs nerfs. It should not, or just taken out of the game. It should not be in this game because it makes so easy for some random dude to hit you once with this thing and you just stop playing. Anyway, next up, the minigun. Now this thing is at the top of D. I'm gonna say this thing is at the top of D. All it needs is some sort of buff to its damage or something. It needs something, and it could probably be up here. The reason why this thing is down here because terrible damage for a minigun. A long reload and a big magazine, yeah, that seems like an upside, but for a damage output and a rate of fire that kind of blows, it's not good. It's bad. And there's something on this list that's just this, but like 10 times better. Next up is the sticky bomb launch. No, sticky mine launcher. I haven't seen anyone use this thing as often. I've seen people use it, but there is potential. There's potential for this thing to be up here. We haven't seen it yet, but that's also because the explosion slot just has better options. If someone can figure out what to do with this thing and crack it like this, it could definitely be up. But time will tell. I would say this thing definitely might need a buff to be placed up here, but either someone figures out how broken it is or it gets buffed. It's an alright gun. I don't think it needs nerfs. I don't think it needs anything. I think it just needs something or people to actually use it. Next up is actually my personal favorite, a gun that I think is technically balanced, but not really. The ACR, also in a primary, also in the primary slot, which I keep forgetting to say. This gun is like good. Like good on the level of how it feels, how it sounds, how it plays. It's a 3-shot weapon. Well, sorry. 3 shots to kill someone. It does 50 damage. The health in this game is 150. It's reliable, it's good, tons of ammo in the magazine. The only downside with this weapon is it's single shot and it has a pretty lengthy reload. It's a slow reload, but it isn't slow as this. But it is reliable. This is my personal favorite weapon, even for new players. It's good. It's even the developer's personal favorite, which is like says in the tag for this weapon. Next up is the pressure gun. Ooh, yeah. Actually, no, yeah, it's actually I'll put it top of A. I think this was originally an S, but I definitely have it. Not many people have used this thing. This thing heavily relies on tracking, which if you're good at tracking, this thing is just up here. But I don't think the average player would be able to be good with that. This thing is just a better version of this. In every possible way. Better reload, it might be less on the ammo. But this thing is hit scan, which this thing isn't, or at least kind of is. It is powerful, it hits hard, you just get erased. Someone, I don't know, a few months ago cracked it and like figured out how good it was. This thing originally, I think it was like down here. Like even though no one made a list for it by then, it was like kind of down here. Like it was a unique weapon, but it just wasn't that good. And so someone figured out now it's actually really broken. It's strong, it's reliable, it does tons of damage for how good it is. It might be tick rate. It is a tick rate gun, so you have to keep looking. But ooh boy, if you keep looking at someone, they're gone. Yeah. Except the thunder gun. Okay, so under certain pretenses, this gun, ooh, this gun has had some problems. This gun has had a lot of changes. It's been getting nerfs, buffs, and reworks. By reworks, I'm saying this thing could crash your game. This gun could very much crash your game, but now it doesn't. Okay. This. Here. I will probably order this a little. Actually, no, it's actually in order. Right. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the thunder gun. Oh boy. So this thing's damage is inconsistent. I'm gonna admit that immediately. I think the set damage for it is 100. It's okay. So this thing is pretty much a sniper rifle, but with its own stupid gimmick that doesn't work. It has the ability to rebound its shot. The problem is you're never hitting that rebound. I in my entire like hours, like all the hours in my game, I've never hit the rebound. But yet again, I've never really used it. It's kind of a gun that's just like, ooh boy, it is a good gun, very good gun. I admit, with certain abilities, it could potentially go up here because it has a higher rate of fire than that, but I wouldn't say entirely is broken. Next up is the snowball launcher. Okay, I'm gonna not indeed. There's there's something with this, but actually, I'm gonna put this down here. Actually, zombie. Okay, so this thing is if you reach max, the current max level is this gun. This gun is not good. I'm gonna admit that. Its projectile doesn't really feel like it's doing a whole lot. And even when in gun game too, this thing just it can kill, but I feel like some guns need to be moved around. This being one of them. This thing has been an exclusive, has almost been an exclusive weapon for most of its life until it was moved to the level 29 weapon, which I feel like one of these guns, specifically this gun, should be into the first unlock. I feel like these two should switch, in my opinion. Anyway, like it takes a primary slot. Okay, it takes primary slot, but it's like, what's the point? Like this gun just does not feel like it does well. Anyway, next up the Kingfisher, which is actually the first secondary. Why? Why is almost all the secondaries at the bottom? Okay, weird. All right. Next up is the Kingfish. This is actually a really reliable gun. Kind of. I'm gonna put it at the top of B because there's many better options for this gun. This is the definition of the probably the average pistol. Like it's a shotgun, the only shotgun weapon in this entire game. But it's more of like a soft shotgun. It's like a force of nature, if you will. This thing can kick you off the ground. It can help you get extra height. It's all right. The damage on this thing, point blank, is just the atomized. Like you just get gone, eradicated. But other than that, it being single shot, only having one bullet before reloading, it's not that good. But it kills. This thing will obliterate if you shoot this thing point blank. But other than that, it's not that good. Next up is the orange, the staple challenge. I think this thing, personally, yeah, actually, yeah, it's actually yes. This gun is pretty much that, but faster reload. It can be detonated prematurely in the air. It's a great counter to half shield. It works. It can give you movement. It's got all right range. I wouldn't say it's the best, especially since it will. It's a grenade. This thing is pretty much a grenade that you can have as a primary. This thing is it should be a primary. This thing can be used as a primary weapon, and it's still very effective. Is it the worst? No. Why am I saying that? Is this thing good? Yes. Is it S plus? No. The only downside with this thing is its range. But we will get to a weapon that is. Actually, is it S plus? No, because its damage output's kind of inconsistent with its explosion. I mean, reliable as hell, yes. Good, indeed. I want to put it in S plus because this thing is just like amazing, but it's like not really. Next up is the frenzy. Immediately, there are better options. So many better options. This thing is inaccurate, stupid, and will be getting its own freaking worst weapon thing. Like this entire row will be getting its thing. I've already done it on one of them, which I will put the card somewhere. So somewhere up here we'll see the card. But this thing has it's so stupidly inaccurate. I feel like I'm shooting literal Q-tips at people. Like actual paintballs at people with this thing. It's not good. I'm recommending just don't use this thing. Next up is the flare gun. Going right into S. Okay, this thing probably would have been S plus like 6 months ago, but this thing definitely had its nerfs. It had its moment. This thing originally could one shot, so technically can, but it's just not as consistent as it was. Its blast radius is definitely shrunk, but who boy, with certain weapons, this thing can just obliterate you. You do not get to play the game. Like it's not S plus, but it is. Ooh, it can be annoying. But actually, there we go, a little better. Anyway, next up, black hole gun. My God, this gun. I've single handedly have not found a use for this thing. I know people use it. I definitely have seen a lot of people use this thing, but it's kind of just annoying. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but it's kind of just a movement. It kind of just shuts your movement down for a few seconds, but there's abilities to get out of it. Unlike this, where you're just permanently stuck. Next up is the bubble nade. Oh my god. It doesn't fit in that damn slot. This thing should be an ability for how goddamn useless it is. But even if it wasn't an ability, it would be still in the same tier it is. There is not a whole lot you can do besides make the bubbles bigger. Maybe it's throwing animation shorter or like it's reload shorter. There is nothing you can do for this weapon, it is terrible. It is garbage. If it gets a buff, it could probably be up here or maybe much higher on the thing. But it's like you're an explosion slot, so you don't get movement with it. There is no movement. Originally, there technically was with movement with this thing, but that was a bug that some reason somehow happened. I'm not sure, but it is. Ooh my god, it's bad. It's bad. Don't use this unless it's Dune or Mafia. Just don't use it. This thing is teetering on F. This is the only gun in this entire game that teeters on F. But no, but it's in D because it has a use. Next up is the banana gun. Okay, so the issue with this gun, and there's why I'm putting it in, kind of over here, is that this thing, there is a better option, which I'm going to immediately rank immediately. The Akimbos is just better. The only upside of this thing is its rapid fire, but that rapid fire is not that good. It doesn't shoot the fast. This thing does 120. 60 shots between the two shots. Between the two shots the Akimbos do. There's more ammo in this. It shoots faster. It has the stupid burst bug that all the burst weapons have, so it can shoot multiple shots if you click fast enough. It is busted. Not many people use it, which makes sense because there's technically some better. I wouldn't say better options, but there's definitely better stuff. But there's not a whole lot this thing can do. Next up is the teleport weapon. Okay. This thing has probably the best movement is broken and capture the flag, since you can hold the flag and teleport right back to your base. Immediately cap it. The only downside of this is you lose a damage secondary, but the secondaries don't do tons of damage besides the banana gun and the Akimbos. And one more, which is actually going to be the last weapon to rank. Like, oh my god. I can't talk about this thing much. It's good. It's like a best movement tool for repositioning, getting thing. But it's kind of just oh shit, I got caught out, let me just teleport out of here situation. Especially since the projectile is pretty big and noticeable, so you can tell where someone's teleporting to, but not the best, but really not the worst. Okay, next up is gas gun, which I'm putting top of A. This thing originally was this. This thing, in my opinion, was that. But now it's not. The range has been shortened to, I think it actually does fit the animation now. It is still the okay, have you ever heard the term quite literally smelling your opponent's farts? This is literally, if you are point blank with this thing and hit the button once, they're gone. This thing is that, but like 6 times better. It actually has some range, but the damage fall off on this thing is kind of inconsistent at best. I feel like the range definitely got nerfed. This thing definitely could hit much farther, but ooh boy, it is definitely a weapon. Next up is the spoon, which is definitely the best weapon in the game. Okay, I'm not even sure why the spoon's in this tier list, since you can't even access it out of spoons only. So, why is this even in here? But yeah, most definitely top one. Golden Spoon is SS plus. Definitely. Actually, I will talk about this thing because I feel like this thing does need a little bit of talk. It is good. I definitely will say it's good, but not S plus. It was a joke. It's actually probably just top of B. It's not good. The weapon that would be up here would be the Golden Spoon, but that's not on this list. But if it was, it would be S plus. But it's not. Yeah, so that's the list. This is what I think the meta is currently. Does it need change? Most definitely. Does some guns need buffs? Yes. Guns need nerfs? Most definitely. The guns, certain guns, definitely. I feel like need some tuning. But although the fact that most weapons are A tier means, hey, the game has a somewhat balanced thing. Like, yeah, it's more, it's power. Like if this many things are this high, that means the game's kind of fun and broken. Which some games should have tried to stride, but can't speak. Wow, yeah, I suck at that. But I will say, besides the ice gun needing some massive tuning, I think everything's pretty balanced. This is like the only gun that really pisses me off, and I know it does piss other people off too. I mean, my professional opinion, these are the two broken weapons, but that's not the case. It's you got to be good for this thing to be broken. You don't need to do shit. You genuinely don't need to do shit to be good with this gun. But like the difference between top of S plus and the bottom of D is a gap. We're talking a big gap. But other than that, I see like just a few weapons he changes, and that's about it. And again, I think everything would be balanced. But I will say this thing needs that this thing needs that change back. This thing needs to go back to where it originally was. This thing was not annoying at all. I never got pissed off at this thing. I got annoyed at this thing more often than that. But I like this because this thing kind of requires skill, and so does this. But I'm just not sure. Yeah, that's it for the tier list. But this is my final opinion until at least the next patch where we'll see. But this heavily relied on. I don't know. Well, time will definitely tell.
Whoa, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, that was the list. I'm just saying that. Thanks for watching, y'all. I don't know what people say at this point. Anyway, yeah. So that was the list. I hope y'all like it. I hope y'all like, subscribe, blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing this end part. You can you can leave, get out. I don't care. Or maybe watch the ability list, or watch whenever I make the freaking frenzy video. Which the script is in the works, but this this list did take a while, and so did making this. But just thanks for watching. Low Res Morgana / Hypersonic Brainwave Scrambler is out.